It was early fall on the ranch, and the golden light of the morning sun was spilling across the fields. The bulls were grazing peacefully, the air was crisp, and everything seemed perfectly normal until I received the frantic call. Karen, the infamous HOA enforcer, had apparently organized a hunting day on my property. Hunters, some armed and some inexperienced, were making their way onto my land, thinking they had permission. I raced toward the scene, my mind calculating the risks. These weren't just any bulls. They were a heritage breed, legally protected due to their rarity and historical significance. My phone buzzed again, this time with live video from my security drones showing hunters wandering dangerously close to the herd. Karen was at the center, directing the chaos with her usual condescending smirk. When I arrived, the hunters froze. My bulls, massive and imposing, were already aware of the intrusion. Their heads lifted, nostrils flaring, as they pawed the ground with a threatening intensity. Karen, ever bold, tried to call out commands, insisting the bulls stay calm. She didn't understand that these animals weren't ordinary livestock. They were trained to respond to threats to the property and the herd. I walked slowly toward Karen, hands raised in a gesture of control. The hunters started backing away instinctively, sensing the protective instincts of the bulls. Karen laughed nervously, clearly underestimating the situation. I explained in calm but firm terms that these were protected heritage bulls and that any harm to them could result in severe legal consequences. Her smug expression faltered as the enormity of the situation sank in. One of the hunters, panicked, tried to advance toward a bull, but the animal's sheer size and presence caused him to stumble back. Another hunter accidentally dropped his rifle, which skidded across the ground harmlessly, but the message was clear. The bulls were in charge here. Karen's plan to allow hunters onto my property had backfired spectacularly. I summoned the local wildlife authorities to document the situation and ensure the herd's protection. Karen attempted to protest, claiming she had some authority from the HOA. I smiled, knowing full well that her claims were meaningless in the face of my legal ownership and the protected status of the bulls. The authorities quickly confirmed my rights and reminded everyone that trespassing on my ranch and endangering protected animals was a serious offense. Karen, realizing her overreach had consequences, tried to retreat, but it was too late. Reports were filed, and she was held accountable for organizing an unauthorized hunt on private, protected land. The hunters were escorted off my property, muttering apologies, while the bulls resumed their peaceful grazing, the earlier tension dissipating with the evening breeze. By nightfall, the ranch was quiet again. Karen's actions had been reckless and dangerous, and the legal and ecological consequences ensured she would think twice before attempting anything similar. I walked along the fence lines, inspecting the herd and making mental notes to improve security for the future. My heritage bulls were safe, my property intact, and Karen's reputation utterly tarnished. The day's events served as a reminder. My land was mine, the bulls were under my protection, and anyone foolish enough to ignore those boundaries would face consequences far beyond what they expected. Karen's attempt to let hunters onto my ranch wasn't just an intrusion. It was a direct challenge to the laws protecting my property and the rare animals under my care. And as always, she had lost.